All right, welcome. Aaron Adams here with GetRealEstateEducation.com, founder and CEO of Alpine Capital Solutions, and also founder of Aaron Adams Training. That would be ironic if I had a website that was my exact same name and not me. I'm joined with me today. You can see on your screen there. Top of the screen is Mr. Travis Howard.
Welcome.
And bottom of your screen is Colonel Fred Dumar. Throughout the live stream today, if you have questions, you're ready to move forward, anything that you'd like more information, Fred's email is fred@alpinecs.com. And we'll be, we can't type that in the chat bar on YouTube, but we will have that available for you. If you're watching a recorded link to this training, because we recorded it earlier and sent it out to you, you can still email Fred at Alpine CS. Any offers given today are still valid. If you're watching the link and we've left it up with a public link on our YouTube page, then you benefit from that, even if technically it's expired, because that's on us. So for the next hour, we're going to talk about active real estate investing. Specifically, last week with Dennis Blitz, we focused on passive investing. We recorded from our studio in Indianapolis. Now, Travis and I happened to be in Indianapolis last week hosting passive investors who are buying passive property from us. Now, Trav runs our Charlotte operation, and Trav, actively, how many properties are you buying right now in Charlotte a month?
Actively, we buy about 15 to 20 a month actively.
So Trav's buying 15 to 20 a month. Some of those we turn into rentals that we sell to our investors. Some of those, though, and we're going to talk about wholesaling today, some of those Travis just turns around and flips without even touching them, don't you, Trav?
I do. I just wholesale them out.
Others, he just assigns the contract, meaning he's got it maybe under contract for $90,000. He knows an investor that'll take it for $93,000. He assigns that contract, lets the other investor buy for $93,000, and they cut him a check for $2,000. That's the process of assignment. That's the process of wholesaling. It's a very simple, great active strategy because you don't have to close on the deal. So we want to talk about that today. Before we get too much into the content, and keeping in mind also that if you do have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat bar. Fred will be keeping an eye on the questions as they come in, and we'll be sharing those with us, or we'll hop in to let us know that questions have appeared, because we won't generally be monitoring it. But I wanted to talk about the gifts that we've sent you already, the trainings that we've given you in addition to this training here today, so that you can maximize the freebies that we've given you. And we're very excited about what we've sent you because there's a lot of content there. Now, the first class that I want to highlight, and let me just hop over from this presentation to the Aaron Adams training page. AaronAdamsTraining.com is where we host the classes that we teach. And you can see we have about 12. We're just in the process of uploading our foreclosure training that we recorded last week. But you can see under real estate classes, we have some really fantastic trainings. Off to the right are the different classes that we've recorded already. Commercial, active strategy. Construction is an active strategy. Creative finance is an active strategy. Flipping is an active strategy. Marketing is an active strategy. Mobile home and Airbnb. And wholesale. So we have 8 classes on active investing strategies that we've put there, and we're about to add a foreclosure property investing strategy as well. We've already given you 2 of the trainings from this Aaron Adams training portal. We've given you, as you can see there first, the Real Estate 101 training, and we've given you the IRA 101 training. So I want to take a minute, explain what they are. If you're not sure that you have them, check the email that Fred sent you. And Fred, what was in the email that you originally sent them?
Yeah, and the email they originally got from me, they should have had a link to yesterday's live stream, a link to today's live stream, and then at the bottom, both another link to the Real Estate 101, a link to IRA 101, and then a landing page if they had additional questions on self-directed IRAs.
So if you haven't, maybe you missed that in the email, we have these 2 classes, and I want to take just a minute and explain what the deal is behind them. Now, Travis, the Real Estate 101 class you and I recorded together.
Yep.
And what was our objective? What was our purpose for that? You know, it's funny. Trav is live streaming from our offices in Charlotte. We got contractors today. Give them a side view of our new addition to our office, man. Talk about active from his Volkswagen Beetle. Wait, no, that looks like a Range Rover.
It would be. It'd be my range.
Wait, give us another shot of the office, man, because it looks so. I'm excited. So I was in Charlotte a few weeks ago, and we were contemplating tearing that building down. And we said, you know what? It has good bones. We love the location, and we don't want to wait 2 years to have the office, which is how long it took to build our Indianapolis office. Those are our offices for our Alpine Property Management in Charlotte. And I got to get back out there, man.
Dude, it's amazing. I'm serious. It is absolutely beautiful inside.
It's exciting. So, so you came to Indianapolis. We recorded from our live stream studio out there. What were we trying to accomplish in those 3 hours?
Trying to get everybody to understand that any and everybody can do this business. It's not rocket science. And we try to make it as simple, third grade level as possible so that they can understand how to break a market down, how to, build teams, how to run a business, those types of things that so many folks, that might be listening to this, they might be having a challenge with. And we're just trying to take them by the hand and show them an easier way to do it.
Exactly. So, we meet people all the time who say, I just read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, or I like to watch the flipping shows, or I know a friend that's made money in real estate, or I've always wanted to get involved in real estate, and they've never had that opportunity yet. And so we recorded this class as a starting point for you as an investor. Basically, we went through all the trainings that we have on the Aaron Adams training platform, and we give you the pros and cons. So we talk about commercial property. What are the pros? What are their cons? Is this something for somebody who's a beginner? Is this a strategy that you got to have a lot of money for? We answer all of those questions. We take creative finance. And under the umbrella of creative finances, how do I buy property with no money down? So we went through and we broke that down for you, the pros and cons of that class. All of the classes that I just mentioned, we go through each of those strategies over 3 hours, and we walk you through why you as an investor might want to focus, because depending on where you live in the country, depending on how much money you have, depending on how much time you have on your hands, it can be very difficult to choose a strategy that's a good fit for you. At the end of the call today, we're going to tell you how you can get basically a free one-on-one call with one of our real estate strategists who can get on the phone with you and personally help walk you through that. So don't let me forget to do that at the end of the call today, Travis. But
hey, Aaron, got a question from Jay, and I could answer it, but I think there's some other stuff you may want to say about it. So Jay asks if we have an office in Orlando and Central Florida, and I know that we don't, but I figured that might lead you into a discussion as to why we don't.
Yeah, because we used to. We had an Alpine Property Management in Orlando for a long time. And there's two reasons why I started selling Florida: hurricanes and international investors. As Chinese investors, as Indian investors, as Singaporean investors started to increase their holdings in Florida, I was investing for cash flow. They were investing to get their money out of their currency and into the U.S. and into U.S. dollars. And so, if you're a multimillionaire, you may not care as much about the cash flow if you know that, for example, Singaporean investors that I knew, the Singaporean dollar was falling in relationship to the U.S. dollar. And so if they just bought a U.S. property with their Singaporean money and converted it to U.S. dollars, they were protecting their wealth, because I had some clients where the Singaporean dollar fell 40% to the U.S. dollar. And so they made 40% on their money just by getting their money into Florida. The problem for me is when we're competing for properties at auction, if they just want to get a deal and they'll pay market value for it, that hurts me, because I need to get a deal at the foreclosure auction for 60, 70 cents on the dollar. And so the state of Florida put the foreclosure auction online, and then it was like an unlevel playing field, because I maybe would only pay $80,000 for a property that was worth $100, and they'd pay $100 for it. They didn't care. So that was one thing that chased us out of Florida. The other thing was hurricanes. In Travis, in Charlotte, on a $100,000 property, how much is a landlord policy for the year for insurance?
About $54. A month.
Yeah, so about $600, right? I was paying almost 3 times that for the same $100,000 in insurance in Florida. And so hurricane was the big factor. If you think about it, yeah, Charlotte occasionally gets a storm that comes tearing up the East Coast, but Charlotte's inside the state. It's not out by the beach. Charlotte never has freeze. Have you ever experienced a tornado in Charlotte, Travis?
No.
Yeah, so no, very very low chance of tornado, very low chance of hurricane, low probability of freeze bakes. So insurance is really cheap in Charlotte. It was one of the reasons why I loved it, because Charlotte's red hot and it's growing. And so we started selling our Alpine properties, and we went to our investors and we said, hey, we used to love Florida, we don't love it now, and we kept management in place until the very last deal. We're actually in that process right now with Dallas. So you can see that we don't have our Dallas market listed as one of our active markets because we're not currently buying property in Dallas. We're still managing. We still have an Alpine Property Management Dallas. We still manage properties for our clients that we sold to, and we'll continue to have an Alpine there until every deal is gone. But we're not currently offering Dallas properties, and so we don't list it as a market that we're active in. The current markets that we're actively buying in is Indianapolis, Kansas City, southeastern Idaho, and Charlotte. And so I really take a national view of the U.S. market, and we invest in that accordingly. So we're always kind of scaling up somewhere, and we're probably also scaling down on another side. That's how it works with an active investor. Where that also works for active investors is with respect to strategies. So, Trav, we've really struggled over the past couple of years to get good deals at the foreclosure auction, haven't we?
Yeah, most definitely. And especially in North Carolina and Charlotte, just because of the rules and regulations that they have and the laws that are set, they make it really difficult to be able to buy any foreclosures.
Yeah, but things have changed. I believe your wife sent me a chart the other day that's shown the default rate for property owners. That's homeowners, that's investors, it's skyrocketed. Why is that happening?
Well, from job loss, wherever it may be around the U.S. But there's just a lot of people that are scared right now because of COVID.
Yeah, unemployment was 3% in January nationally. That's tripled or quadrupled depending on how you look at the numbers. And so the foreclosure rate we're anticipating will triple and quadruple. Now, you've bought thousands of properties at foreclosure auction. I've bought well over 10,000 properties on the courthouse steps. And we're both excited because what has been kind of a dead strategy for us for the past couple of years could come roaring back as millions of property owners across the U.S. go into foreclosure. And so last week when I was in Indianapolis, we recorded a foreclosure training on how to take advantage of foreclosure investing. So we walked through the 3 different stages of foreclosure: pre-foreclosure, courthouse steps at the live auction, and then REO phase. And we went through the different pros and cons. So, Trav, if you were an investor was listening to this and they are broke and don't have any money, is one of the phases of foreclosure potentially an area where with just a couple $1,000s they could start investing?
Oh yeah, without question. As long as you've got some time, if you have no money, there's plenty of money out there. In fact, there's more money right now than there is deals.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking in your head, I'm broke or whatever, no, there's a lot of people broke. There's a lot of people with no money, but if you have the wherewithal, like with the class, which is phenomenal, I sat through the whole thing. They walk through the entire process from start to finish so that you can understand what your next step is going to be, whether you have money or if you're broke.
Yeah. So, for example, if you're broke, pre-foreclosure could be a great stage for you. You can, for a few $100, you can get a list of all the people who are behind on their mortgage. Imagine going and knocking on somebody's door and saying, hey, my boss sent me over today. They said that you're behind on your mortgage and wanted to see if you would take cash for the home. Now, some of you are like, oh my gosh, I would never do that. That sounds horrible. But what if you sent them a postcard that said that? Or what if you sent them a handwritten letter that said that? And so, some people are behind on their mortgage and it's just something that they don't even want to think about it. What's the mindset of somebody who knows they're going to lose their property, Trav? Because you talk to them all the time.
I do. Well, a lot of them, it's one of those psychological things that you're in it, so you can't figure out how to get out of it. Kind of like if you're talking to your friend, or if I have a business question, I'll call, you, Aaron, as the example, because I just can't think outside the box of how I need to be able to. And what somebody will be able to do, excuse me, sorry about that. Put it on vibrate. I don't know why it's not going to vibrate. But yeah, what you need to do is, these folks have more than likely never been in a situation like this. So they don't know how to deal with it. They don't know what the process is. They don't know what the steps are. And that's where you can come in and actually being a person that cares to try to help them out. And in that, absolutely in the training, it tells you how to do that. But from what I've done with so many people is, you just sit down with them and you get a solution to their problem. And it's not as difficult as everybody plays it out to be. All the big gurus that try to be like, oh, well, you're going to have this or that. You really don't. There's just a couple things you got to do, and that's called listen. And then you can figure it out, because we're going to teach you and show you how and where you need to go in order to get the information for your particular area.
Trav, another question just popped up. What's the best way to find a list of pre-foreclosures? Where do you like to go?
I actually have a legal publication in Charlotte, Mecklenburg that actually I have a subscription for like $400 a year. I get all of them. If you have something like PropStream, you can find them. If you Google, like Charlotte, Mecklenburg foreclosures, you'll find the attorneys or title agents that actually go and they do those sales for the banks. And you'll probably be able to get the list even for free. And all you'll need to do, and if you're working in a title state, they'll possibly give you the phone number. They'll give you kind of the skip traced phone number and the name of the person that's in trouble, and probably the amount of money that they're in arrears for, which means that they have those payments still to make to the bank. They'll give you all that data for free, but you have to actually get on the phone call and start calling around and seeing who can give that data to you.
Great. So in addition to the overview Real Estate 101 training that we've already given you, you want to take the time, sit down for 3 hours, watch that, or break it up over the next few days. You can watch it on your phone. You can watch it on your computer. While you're on the elliptical at the gym, catch it. The other training that we put together for you is the IRA 101 training. And we talked about this at length yesterday, but many investors have no idea that they can take their IRA or their 401k and use it to buy property. We had about 70 investors between live attendees and live stream that were at our event in Indianapolis this last weekend. And most of them, I would say over 80%, were looking to diversify their 401k. So they wanted to buy a property from Travis and I inside their 401k. So have your 401k actually go on the title as owner of the property. And then every month, as the rents come into the Alpine Management, we send the rents to the trust account at the trustee who helps you with that. And so in the IRA 101 training, Dennis Blitz, who's my business partner, he and I break down at length for you exactly how you can diversify into real estate and basically invest in alternative strategies. Most people, 97% of Americans, have their money with the Fidelities of the world. It sits at Fidelity, Fidelity invests it for you, or you pick stock and you're investing that way. And so many investors had no idea that you can take your IRA or your 401k and invest in property. And so we spent 3 hours putting that training together for you. And Fred, you joined us on that training. What was your unique angle that we had you come in on that training?
Yeah, I think I jumped on there because I was the one person, like you said, that the unicorn that could meet all those different types of self-directed accounts. So my particular situation was I had an IRA. I had 2 401ks from companies that I'd worked for after I retired from the Army. And then I had a thrift savings plan from while I was in government service. So I was able to take my IRA with USAA Bank, my TSP from the federal government, and 2 401ks, one with Vanguard and one with Fidelity, and put them all into a self-directed IRA and begin buying houses with that money. So yeah, it's an interesting proposition once you realize that you're sitting on a bunch of cash that you could be using to invest in real estate.
Exactly. Now, I want to jump into some of these different strategies while we have Trev here and give you kind of a little mini version. We've already touched on foreclosure. We've had some good questions about that. And one thing I want to highlight is that all of the trainings at Aaron Adams Trainer are just $99 each. $99 gets you the 3-hour training, the content. And then from there, we have some packages that build on top of that if you'd like more. So if you want to get on weekly Zoom calls, it costs more. If you want all the documents and the PowerPoint, it costs more. Maybe you want to work with Travis directly. Maybe you want to go sit at that office there in Charlotte for a couple of days with him and have him personally help you move forward on this. That's a few $1,000. And so, but our vision for the education is that you can get the education for $99 and get down the road with that. Wholesale 101 training. Trav, give us a 30-second summary of what wholesaling is and what we accomplished with that training.
For sure. I wanted to touch on something too that
Yeah.
you guys were just talking about is the retirement funds. So if you might have a little bit in your retirement account, say it's like 5, 10, 15, 20K. Well, it might not be enough to buy a house necessarily. However, you have to understand you can also roll that into a wholesale deal, and all of your profits go directly back into your 401k, your SEP, or your Roth or self-directed IRA. So I've had people that I met a guy, this is probably 10 years ago. He went and got land under contract outside of Raleigh, North Carolina. He put a contract, his actual IRA, Roth IRA, put a contract on this land. He wholesaled it for $900,000, and that went back tax-free into his actual retirement account. So to me, that was kind of a big deal. So if you're thinking, oh, I only have a couple grand, whatever. No. That's not the point. The point is that your IRA can actually wholesale deals also. So let me kind of put it into a little box. All that wholesaling is very simple concept. You get a piece of paper, a purchase contract, and you're going to sell that piece of paper and you're going to make money. So you get it, just like Aaron was saying, you get it for $90,000 under contract and you sell it to Fred for $93,000. Well, that $3,000 is your net profit. It's very simple. There's a couple other different little minutia things that will come up to per state, but it really is that easy. And it doesn't cost you very much at all. You might have a couple bucks in the marketing budget, maybe in some paper and some ink, but you don't have closing costs. You don't have the headaches of trying to find the money to buy the property. You're just helping both sides. You're practically the middleman to help people put together a deal that they can buy a house at a great deal. And most of the time if you're wholesaling, you want to leave enough meat on the bone for the investor. So if Aaron if he's selling, I go and I get it for the 90, right? So now I have a purchase contract. Now I do a piece of paper, which this is in the training also. You'll get all these documents so that you can do it step by step. So the purchase contract between me and Aaron, I'm the middleman, which would be you if you're the wholesaler. And then I'm going to sell that piece of paper to Fred, who is buying it for that $3,000. And now I got to make sure that it goes all the way through so I get my 3K. But that's how simple this whole process of wholesaling really is.
Yeah, I had a bartender. When I'm traveling, I eat out, and I was, I'm based out of Idaho right now, but I was in Indianapolis and sitting at the bar talking to a bartender, and bright guy named John, and John, I said, John, he said, I've always wanted to get into real estate, and I said, well, where do you live? And he said, I live in Fountain Square, and I said, I love Fountain Square. That's a great neighborhood in Indianapolis. I'd buy pretty much anything that you could get under contract under $40,000, and this was like 7 or 8 years ago. So he said, well, how do I find him? I said, just go walk the neighborhood tomorrow, and if you find a property that's abandoned or run down, then maybe fill out a postcard and throw it in the mailbox. And he said, can you do that? I said, no, by law you have to mail it to him, but it was semantics. So he starts walking the neighborhood, and he sees a guy cutting the lawn on a house that's boarded up. So he goes up to the guy, and the guy stops the lawnmower and he says, hey, clearly you don't live here. Are you the landlord of this property? He's like, yeah, and I hate, I got to come mow the lawn, or the city's going to charge me $300. John said, I know an investor that would pay you good money for this house if you just wanted to get rid of it. Long story short, John got the seller willing to take $19,000. And because I helped walk him through it, I was willing to pay $23,000. He made $4,000 from that deal. That kind of started him on the journey. So in 3 hours, we teach you how to get started with wholesaling. We teach you how to find deals. We teach you how to find buyers, how to find sellers, how to negotiate things with the homeowner. We teach you everything that you need to get started with this strategy. This is one of the preferred strategies of investors that we work with, because wholesaling works in any market in the U.S., and you really only need about $1,000 total to get going on wholesaling. So it's a great strategy.
And any asset class. Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
It works on anything. We just, we're wholesaling a mobile home park right now. So hand in hand, you can see on the Aaron Adams training website, hand in hand with that is the marketing training, Marketing 101. Travis, why does marketing go hand in hand with wholesaling usually?
Well, because it's bringing in leads. It's all about lead generation, be able to have an actual a widget to sell, which is the house or the contract, the piece of paper. If you don't market, you can't have consistency. It's kind of like, do you want to run a business or do you want to have a hobby? Hobbies cost money. Businesses cost you money, but for a return that you can get metrics from and you can actually measure. So whenever Aaron and I sit down as an example, we'll talk about, hey, what marketing's working today, not what worked 12 months ago even. It's what worked yesterday in my office or in our Indy office or in our Kansas City office, because everything changes so drastically, so quickly in milliseconds. So I'm trying to take all of my marketing and advertising that I'm building out, which it might be direct mail, it's driving for dollars, it's building bird dogs as an example. And again, these are all the things that we teach you guys in the training, step-by-step processes and systems that we use daily. And all it is bringing in leads and then dumping those leads to our investor buyers that have all the cash that you may not have today. And if you have it, then you can keep the deals. But we're trying to just move paper. That's all we're trying to do is move paper from one person to another.
So I know wholesalers that are doing these marketing techniques. They usually start like bartender John did. They usually start, we call it driving for dollars, or riding your bike for dollars, or walking for dollars, where you're cruising a neighborhood to find deals physically. The next step of marketing usually graduates to mail campaign, sending out postcards, sending out letters. Travis, how many postcards and letters are you sending out a month right now?
Any given month, 15 to 20,000 postcards to letters, which runs me between $5,000 to $10,000 just for mailers.
So in the marketing class, we show you how to do those mail pieces, how to send them out, what kind of rate of return you can expect. It pays. I mean, if I said to you hypothetically, hey, if I show you how to spend $1,000 to send out 2,000 postcards to get 40 calls and get one deal, $100,000 property for 60 cents on the dollar, would that be worth it to you? Well, of course, you would spend $1,000 to get a property for 60 grand that's worth 100. And so in the marketing class, we teach you how to find those deals and to market. Probably the next phase would be having your own website that brings leads and paying for ads that are bringing people to you with deals. And so marketing, we walk you through that whole process. It goes hand in hand with wholesaling, because the best wholesalers are really good marketers, and the best marketers also wholesale. And what happens with every wholesaler is that sooner or later, they'll get a deal for like 30 cents on the dollar, $30,000 property worth 100 grand, and they'll go, well, I don't want to just make 5 grand on this or 10 grand. I want to fix it up and flip it and make $50,000. That's when they graduate to the third class that you can see on the training and become flipping investors. Because instead of going, well, I want to do flipping first and own the property and try to deal with the construction and try to manage the whole project, why not wholesale? Because you don't have to buy the properties. Why not build up some cash? Maybe you only have a couple $1,000 right now. Imagine if you could wholesale 10 deals, turn that into $50,000, and in the process of wholesaling, wait until you find a grand slam, then keep that deal and use your money for that deal to make $50,000. I always say that we lose our best wholesalers who are bringing us deals because all of a sudden they decide to become flippers. Don't they, Trav?
They do every time.
They graduate out.
And
hey guys, I'm gonna jump in here because I think you guys have been doing this so long. You skipped a step for beginners, right? And me being a beginner, I can see the step that you skip. So if I'm a beginning investor, you guys are talking about marketing and finding deals for 50, 60 cents on the dollar through marketing. But why can't I, as a beginning investor, why can't I just look at the MLS? Or what's wrong with just finding, going around looking for houses that have signs in the yard, the traditional way that people usually find properties? Why is that a bad strategy?
It's a great question. I'm glad you brought that up, Fred, because all of the deals that we're talking about with wholesaling and marketing and flipping are deals that you want to find that are off market. They haven't been listed yet. The deals that are on the market right now suck. If it made it all the way to the market in a hot market like we have right now, it's not going to be a very good investment. Typically, every once in a while something slips through the cracks. Now, when I got started 20 years ago in California, you could find good deals on the MLS or on Zillow, etc. But on market deals in a hot market don't exist, do they, Trav?
They are so rare. I might get one off of MLS. And trust me, I know that Aaron, myself, our Kansas City team, we scrape the MLS every morning with the hot sheets at 7:00 in the morning. It's emailed to us the newest and greatest properties. And I'll buy one. God, I'm trying to think of, honestly. I bet you I haven't bought one off of MLS in 3 months. I might get 2 or 3 a year nowadays. That's it. Everything else is off market.
Yeah, at the foreclosure auction, you can still get great deals because there's a whole skill set that we teach you on how to navigate the foreclosure auction. But if you can't go to the auction, then you need to learn how to do marketing because that's going to help you find deals that are off market. Because think about the first deal that John found. That investor just he didn't think he could sell the property because it looked so crappy. I mean, I had to spend $50,000 on that property fixing it up. And he thought, this thing is in such bad shape, no one's going to want to buy it. Wrong. And so John, the bartender, found an off-market, unlisted property, and we were able to convert that. That's one of my best Airbnbs today in Indianapolis. So, yeah, great question, Fred.
Hey, Aaron, the other term I've heard you use is inefficiencies, right? Money's made where there are inefficiencies. So if you I know that's kind of what we're talking here, but could you explain how you say money's created through inefficiencies and why that applies sort of here in the wholesaling and marketing?
Well, building on that same example about bartender John, the owner's inefficient belief that if a property is ugly, you can't put it on the market. That's a common one I've heard. I've had somebody say, "Well, I would be embarrassed to list this house because I have old green carpet or I have pets and you can smell them." And people have this hesitancy that if the house isn't cute for an open house, they don't want to list it on the market. Trav, you've probably encountered that, haven't you?
I have. There's just so many times that people, a lot of inherited properties, they know that the house is a dump, but they don't know how bad of a dump until I send them pictures or a video, because so many people that are out of state that their parents or grandparents own something and they have no clue. They don't have contractor crews like we do. They don't know how to fix anything. They don't know what the expense is. All they know is that they have to pay taxes on that stupid house every single month for their inheritance. And it keeps eating away at whatever they were inherited.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you're learning to invest, when you're learning to find deals, everything is built off the assumption that there was an inefficiency. So, for example, a bank mistakenly thinks that it costs $30,000 to fix the mold problem, whereas because I own a construction company, I can do it for $6,000. That inefficiency of how much the budget is creates profit for me as an investor. Mistaken beliefs that property owners have, like Trav mentioned, inherited property. They can be some of the dumbest property owners because they didn't buy that property. It fell into their lap just because somebody died, and they're very inefficient in terms of how they choose to get rid of it. Because since they didn't pay, most of them are like, well, how much cash can I get and how fast? Because they just want the cash. And so we teach you with each of these classes what that inefficiency is and how to capitalize on it. And one of the differences between our organization and other companies is there's a lot of seminar companies out there. We're not a seminar company. We're a real estate company. You literally just saw our offices in Charlotte, where we manage almost 500 properties out of. And because we're a real estate company, we have a very unique and a very current perspective on where the opportunities, where the trends are. Now, I want to mention COVID for a second because people are saying, well, what's happening because of COVID? Are there opportunities for investors that are going to come out of COVID? Absolutely. We mentioned one earlier with foreclosure. We think that COVID caused the unemployment rate to go up. I just saw another article that Travis sent me today that said that 60% of the businesses that have closed because of COVID are probably not going to come back. Could you imagine how that may hold our unemployment rate? It wasn't a V that we bounce back. It ends up being like a swoosh, a Nike swoosh, the bounce back. So it ends up taking longer. And if it does, and we stay at close to double-digit unemployment, the foreclosure rate will continue to spike. But there's been some other really interesting things that have happened that nobody could have foreseen. So think about people living in Manhattan who rented an apartment or owned a small condo. I was reading about this family that lived in Brooklyn. They had 2 kids, and they had a 1,200 square foot condo in Brooklyn, and then COVID hit, and it wasn't bad before with the 2 kids that they were in 1,200 square feet. But then when they had home, kids, digital learning, and mom and dad were both working at home, they said, all right, we can't deal with with being in this close of quarters. And so they moved into New Jersey. So they went and got a realtor. The realtor who they interviewed for the article was like, yeah, I can't even take clients right now because I have so many people leaving Manhattan who want to buy property in Connecticut and in Jersey because they need more square footage. I've seen that here in Idaho. All of California, all of Seattle, all of Oregon is looking at property out here in Idaho. And so what's happened is, for example, in Charlotte, it used to be for years that if you got on MLS and you said, based on the total number of houses, how many months worth of supply do we have available on the market? That's always kind of floated about 6 months. At the beginning of this year, because building is behind for new construction, that had dropped all the way to 3 months. And now in September, in the middle of COVID, we're down to only 1.5 months supply of inventory of homes in Charlotte, in Indianapolis, in Kansas City. And so think how great flipping is right now. All you have to do is throw your home on the market anywhere in the country and you'll get 3 or 4 offers. It used to only be like that in San Francisco or Manhattan. And so flipping has become a phenomenal strategy because you just need to get a deal. And you need to get an off-market deal, and we show you how to do that. And so the mistake that people make is saying, well, if unemployment spiked and we're on bad times right now, there's not money to be made. That's wrong. I mean, I like that my competitors think that because then they stay out of the market. They don't compete with me for deals. But there's never been a better time for you as an investor to start to learn these techniques and to move forward on your own personal investing journey. What's your 2 cents on that, Trav?
No, absolutely. I just read that the National Association of Realtors, we're at a little over 1.3 months. And guys, to understand, simple is 6 months of actually having supply is healthy. Over 6 months is unhealthy. Under 6 months, there is not enough supply, and there's more demand than you can imagine. Literally, we as in Aaron and I are getting things under contract right now for even up to 85 cents on the dollar, and I can wholesale that out for 87, 88 cents on the dollar. So we're still making $3, $5, $7, $10,000 on houses that before COVID, it wasn't happening. It was still a very hot market, but this has made it even more tight for Aaron and I, which is a positive because no matter what happens, good or bad, or whatever somebody thinks or the news says, we're always going to take it because we're chameleons and we can change, and we make it so that it's a positive for us as investors along with our tribe.
There's 2 other strategies I want to mention that I think you as an investor should think about educating yourself on because I think that they're hot right now and I think that there's a lot of money to be made. 1, mobile homes. Owning parks, building parks, doing flips inside the park. One of the things we teach you in the mobile home training is how you can find a local park near you, buy a house for $1,000 in somebody else's park, fix that house up, and flip it and double your money. We teach you step by step how you can find a $1,000 mobile home near you. If you're in Hawaii, forget it. This doesn't work for you. Alaska, it's tough. But in the lower 48, mobile home is great. I had a client from Boston who said, Aaron, there's no mobile homes near me. And I'm like, yes, there are. You just have never, you drive right past them, you look right through them. Sure enough, 2 days later, he's like, yeah, man, I went down to it was actually the DMV is where they held all the titles for mobile homes. And he pulled a list of all the parks, and he's like, there's like 5 parks within 20 minutes of my house. I had no idea. And people just aren't aware. It's always amazing to me how somebody can live in a city and not know their city, because you have like your path to work, your path to the kids' school, your path where you like to watch football games. But then we tend to not branch out of more than 7 or 8 travel paths where we live. And there's whole areas of towns that we don't know anything about because we just never go there. So mobile home and manufactured homes and modular homes are one of the hottest strategies right now, because median home prices since 2013 over the last 6 years have gone from 163,000 to over 200,000. So home prices have jumped 60% and wages have only gone up 20. And so we have an affordability crisis. And it used to be that, on $75,000 a year, you could afford to buy a brand new home. Not the case anymore in almost nowhere in the country. And so I see modular homes, manufactured homes, and mobile homes as a solution to the affordability crisis that we're having, and as a solution to the fact that we're short 4 million homes. Since the last crash when we were overbuilt in 2008, over the last 12 years, builders have not built enough homes. We need to have about 1.7, 1.8 million homes a year, and they've been building barely over 1 million. So we're short a bunch of homes nationwide. That's driven prices up, so I think that's the solution. The final is Airbnb. Now, everyone kind of agreed with me about Airbnb a year ago before COVID, but now people say to me, well, if I get an Airbnb, all the hotels are shut down, the conventions are all shut down right now. Wouldn't Airbnb be bad? And yeah, I agree. My 30 Airbnbs that I own, March sucked. I didn't make any money. April was bad. May, I made no money. June, we had a couple of bookings in our Airbnbs that I made enough to cover my taxes for the year. July, we got even busier. In Indianapolis, where my Airbnbs are, the hotels are back up over 50% occupancy. And so I'm starting to see interest in the Airbnbs. And when I was in Indianapolis last week, there was almost zero. Every one of my 30 properties was full. So that was encouraging. But what has happened since March is that I've seen 20% of my competitor Airbnb owners who've left the market. Because flipping's so hot, they're like, well, I just paid the mortgage in April, screw this property, and they throw it on the market. It's gone in like a day. Now, that's great for them. That was a good exit strategy because they didn't want to keep paying the mortgage. But what's going to happen next spring after we have a vaccine, after we have treatments, once we have herd immunity across the country, and we're like, okay, time to go back to all the conventions. While a lot of people say, it's been good with my family. No one likes being at home. I've heard more people complain about being at home with their kids in school. Everyone wants the kids back to school. People want to start planning vacations again, and people want to go to conventions because those are mini vacations you can write off as work. And so I'm excited about next spring when 25% of my competitors in Indianapolis are no longer in the Airbnb space, and instead of making triple rent, I'm making quadruple rent. And so I love Airbnb, and because it's been bad, Americans were staying in Airbnbs because it was, you can get a 3-bedroom house for the same price as 1 hotel room. And as long as that Airbnb is within a mile or two of where they were going to get the hotel room to begin with, people will take the extra space or they'll take the privacy. I also believe there's a whole segment of people who are like, I don't want to go back to a hotel. I don't want to share elevators, share restaurants, share front desk space. If I stay in an Airbnb, I can almost guarantee that it's only my germs there. I have a lower likelihood of catching COVID. And so Airbnb understands that. They've been positioning and marketing it that same way. Fred, a good comment. It said, completely agree. The time to get in is when everyone else is getting out. And that, KC zone, that's exactly what Warren Buffett says. When others are fearful, be greedy. And when others are greedy, be fearful. Now, I want to show you how you can get started with us. For some of you, this is your first contact with our company. Hey, Kim, love you. So, when others are fearful, be greedy. Then, some of you are wondering, how do I get started with you guys? What's the next step? I want to show you can get started with us for 99 bucks. I want to walk you through it. We've put together what I think is a phenomenal package for you. And we offered this yesterday. We had some really good feedback, some really good response on it. So we're doing a $99 introductory offer. We include your choice of any of our classes on the Aaron Adams Training website. You can pick, you could even pick foreclosure. You can email Fred. You can see his email is right there on the screen, fred@alpinecs.com. Use the code KICKSTART to take advantage of this deal. Just put that in the email. Fred will get you started. He'll send you an email telling you exactly what you need to do. You can choose any class, including the foreclosure class. We will set up a self-directed IRA for you. We'll put you in touch with Dennis Blitz at the IRA Club. You'll have a 1-hour training on self-directed IRAs. They will set that up for you. That's a $200 value. We have a network of phenomenal investors all across the country. I will match you up with one of my investors who will sit down with you on the phone and coach you one-on-one for an hour. Help you get started. Where do you live? What market are you in? How much cash do you have? How much time do you have? What's your goal? Do you want to fire your boss, or do you just want to supplement your income? Are you more thinking active? Are you more passive? Our mentor will sit down with you for an hour on the phone personally and help you get going on this. And then this Saturday, my partners at Infinity Investing have a full one-day training, and we'll get you attendance to that absolutely free. They do it once a month, so if you miss this one, it'll be good for next month. And we're also going to give you a choice. You can either choose the Infinity Investing, and I'm going to explain what that is in a minute, or you can go to a tax and asset protection live stream absolutely free. We'll let you choose which training. This Saturday, I'm doing the Infinity Investing. Next Saturday, I'm doing tax and asset protection. I do those Saturday trainings once a month, and we'll get you attendance at your choice of one of those two events. 99 bucks. So if you're interested in that, shoot Fred an email, fred@alpinecs.com. Use the code KICKSTART. Let me break it down a little bit more for you. So the first piece of that is you get a class at Aaron Adams Training. And you don't just get a class, but we're going to give you the $199 class, which includes the PowerPoint slides. So Fred's going to give you a code to reduce the price on that. You choose any one class. You get the 3 to 6 hours of training. Trav, if someone's just getting started, they don't have a lot of money, and they had to choose one class to get started, what are you going to advise them to do?
I would say take the wholesale class, to be honest. I think the wholesale or the advertising by far, because those are the two things that are going to get you leads so you can start making easy, quick cash and not have to have a whole lot of cash out of your pocket.
Love that. Fred, what's your 2 cents? If somebody's choosing one class to get started, what would you tell them to take?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Travis. I think wholesaling is the easiest one. Although right now, foreclosure might be another one that they want to use to prime themselves, because I think, we've been over the last, 10 years, probably not so much leaning on foreclosures. That's becoming, has become a diminishing strategy. But I think with the way the market is right now with COVID, foreclosure might be a place they want to start leaning.
I'm going to twist it a little bit, and I'm going to throw out their mobile home. I think that it's such a growth area. I think there's so much potential. I know that, Travis and myself, I've spent almost $9 million over the last 36 months scaling up. We bought 2 parks in Charlotte, 4 in Kansas City, 2 in Idaho. It's been a huge push into manufactured housing, into modular homes, big growth area for us. So I would maybe say think about that, because again, like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to teach you how to buy a mobile home for $1,000 and flip that. So it's a combination of strategies. So love that. Kim loves creative finance and mobile homes. She agrees with me. So you can choose. It's $99, just $199 fee. You get all 4 pieces to this package. The second piece to the package is the self-directed IRA. So once you've watched the IRA training, you'll realize the value of this. You're going to get to attend a 1-hour Zoom meeting with the founder of the IRA Club, Dennis Blitz. He's managing hundreds of millions of dollars of investors' money that's flowing through his trust accounts. He's going to offer a Zoom. You'll be able to get on there, ask questions. He'll handle the onboarding for you, and then they will personally customize for you a self-directed 401k or a self-directed IRA or a self-directed Roth, whatever you guys end up choosing. That will be included in the package as well. The third piece to this $99 package is the one-on-one coaching. Fred, you want to talk for a second about why we're excited about the coaching session with our property expert?
Yeah, I think for a lot of people, this can be pretty daunting getting started. As Travis knows from his years of teaching people in the class they used to call momentum, right? I mean, Trav was like pushing people to get started. So a lot of people have trouble getting started, both with picking a strategy and then how to start that strategy. So getting on the phone with somebody one-on-one, you don't have to feel like maybe some people are afraid to ask a question in a group environment. They can ask that question one-on-one with their coach. And then also the coach can tailor a class. So just like we were discussing, might be right strategy for me to get started in foreclosures, or for Travis in wholesaling, for others in mobile homes. That coach will be able to kind of dive into their personal situation and help them dissect their market. Because for any given city in the U.S., there's going to be different strategies that work. There's different strategies that work, the neighborhoods they want to work in, and the amount of money they have to get started. So that coach will really be able to help them deep dive their personal situation, their personal market, and get started.
Jay asked a question, does the foreclosure class include pre-foreclosure? Yeah. So in the foreclosure training, we go through all three phases. We spend about 45 minutes discussing pre-foreclosure, how to monetize that, how to get started with that. Then we spend about 45 minutes on the foreclosure auction itself, at the courthouse steps, how that works. And then we talk about REO. Honestly, pre-foreclosure and REO are probably the two easiest ways, because you never run the risk like you do at the courthouse steps that you're going to buy a second mortgage or an IRS lien or just lose your money and get screwed. Trust me, I've done it before. And so
Yeah, exactly. And one of the other things to add to that too, Aaron, is one of the big things that you learn from all the trainings, and since I just sat through the foreclosure with you guys over the weekend, it's the terminology, it's the words that Aaron, Catherine, and Brittany teach you that you can use, and it sounds like you're not just starting the business. When you make phone calls to people, you speak to people, you're going to sound like a knowledgeable person and not sound like or feel like a moron.
one of the things that I always hated about the real estate education experience that I've seen is I met a poor little old lady a few years ago, in her late well, she wasn't really that old, she was only in her late 60s, but she was old from an investment standpoint, meaning she had made her money, and she thought she was, I don't know what she thought, but she ended up spending like almost $70,000 on a bunch of classes. And when I met her, she was like, well, I wish I had the 70,000 because I'd rather just buy a house from you. I thought I was an active investor. I'm just passive. I just want a rental. I just want more real estate. And she never made that money back because she didn't want to go out and do wholesale. She didn't want to go to mobile home parks. She didn't want to do flips or go to auctions. And so we designed this because from the beginning by saying, for $99, somebody can watch the training. You can watch the foreclosure training and then go, that's not really what I want to do. Maybe I'm going to check out Airbnb. You're not committing. These other companies, they charge $5,000 for a class. They charge $8,000. They try to get you to buy a whole bunch of them. We don't do that. We allow you to have a customized experience with us where you can start with $99 and you have 4 amazing pieces to this package. It's something ethically, as a business person, I feel good about. As a former high school teacher who got started like many of you, making $40,000 a year and every penny counted, I wish I could have had a program like this when I got started 20 years ago, because I wasted money. I remember I went to this one weekend seminar for $1,500, and it was on equity trust packages and how to set them up to avoid due on sale clause. I didn't need that. It was something I knew that I didn't need. I wasted 3 days and $1,500 on that seminar. And so we've built this to protect you from that and to help you only pay for the training that you're going to use and make back. Because I would love for you to spend $99 today, get the foreclosure class, watch it, get a deal in pre-foreclosure, and go back. Aaron, I just made $5,000. What should I do next? And then we'll run you down a path of the next training. That's a process that ethically I feel really good about from an educational standpoint. The final piece is we're going to let you attend a one-day live stream, either with Infinity Investing or Tax and Asset Protection. You get to choose that. Now on Saturday, I'm doing this. I'll be speaking at this Infinity One-Day Investing, and you can see from the slide, they cover the differences between the rich and the poor, how the wealthy divide up their assets, how to calculate income spread, 3 losing bets and how to avoid them, keys to creating finance. So it's a one-day training on your money, how to diversify your money, how the wealthy diversify your money. That's why it's called how to create perpetual wealth by investing in passive investments. And so that's one event that you may choose to attend. Next Saturday, it's just tax and asset protection. If you'd like to attend that training, we can include that as part of your $100 package today. So I feel like there's tons of value in what we're offering here. It's, if you put a market value, it's like $1,500 worth of packages and different products that we're giving you for $99. It really is a no-brainer. Open your email browser, type in fred@alpinecs.com, use the word Kickstart, ask him what you need to do, and he'll show you how to spend the $99, and then he'll give you all of the information that you need to take advantage of these trainings. So we're excited about these courses, and we're excited about getting you moving forward. You can see we walked the walk. We gave you 2 free classes. We're giving you this live stream today. And the only upsell is $99. So take advantage of this opportunity. Lay claim on your real estate education and move forward on this. Trav, you were going to add something.
I forgot what I was going to say, to be honest. But all I can tell you is guys, for what the value that you get from all the stuff, we simplify. Aaron totally makes everything 3rd grade level. You will get stuff from this that you don't hear from anywhere else. And because we want you to be successful, we want you to become a part of our tribe, to be with us, on a weekly and a monthly basis, so that you can actually start changing your life and your lifestyle.
Fred, when they email you, what are you going to give them back?
Hey, so I'll give them a coupon code and registration link so they can go on to Aaron Adams training, pick the class they want, drop the coupon in the cart, and get that for that $199 class for $99. Then as soon as I have a receipt that they've purchased that, I'll shoot them the link to get on for Saturday. I'll shoot them a link to self-directed IRA where they can schedule an appointment with the IRA specialist to open their IRA, and then they can get started.
So Jay, great comment. Jay said,
sorry, Aaron, I just had one other.
Oh, go ahead, Trav.
Go for it. I just was thinking, also, if you guys are wanting to take it to the next level, we're going to have that training in Indy in November, that I'm going to be 2 days. So I just wanted to make sure we didn't forget about that.
Yeah.
Hey, if they're interested in that, I can also shoot them a link. And that's a good point, Trav. In next year, we're going to be raising the cost of that live class because we're going to be expanding our footprint of where those are at. So that October, the ability to take marketing in October and wholesaling in November at the current price, that's going to be the last 2 opportunities to do the live marketing and live wholesaling class.
Yeah, you'll be with me for 2. Yeah, you'll be with me for 2 days. You'll get to see me and Aaron's systems and processes for all of our marketing and advertising. I'm actually gonna just put it all out on the table so that you guys can use all the same softwares that we use. You can use the same postcards we use, everything that we use for our companies. To bring in 30 to 50 houses a month. That's what you're going to actually get to do with me for 2 full days.
Jay made another great comment. I want to read that again. She said, I know how she feels. That's where I am. I wish I found you before spending tens of thousands of dollars on training. I could use that money to be making deals. Imagine, Jay, if they would have said to you, hey, just spend $100 and then buy more if it's worth it. That's how confident we are, because we're a real estate company, that our training is phenomenal. We're only saying spend $100, and if it works for you, then use the profits that we teach you how to make to buy more of the classes and get more of the content from you. And so I know that maybe you've gotten into some of those other trainings you spent money on, not monetizing them. I would encourage you to spend this $99. You choose a class, you'll see for yourself that from one class, any of these starting classes, you should be able to make it back 10 times more. And if not, you're only at $99, but we don't see that happening. And so we're excited about this. The link that you use for the YouTube today, we're going to keep this training online public. Feel free to share this with somebody else. Feel free to come back and rewatch this at your convenience. And we look forward to having you join us at one of our live events or one of our future live streams or on the trainings that we've already created. So thanks for taking the time today, and we look forward to connecting with you directly very soon.
Thanks, guys.
Well, let me just stop streaming, guys.
Cool.